Hi, it's Keith from the Evangelical Free Church, Stony Stratford, and we're continuing our series of short talks in the Gospel of Luke. And today we come to Luke chapter 22, verses 47 to 53. Jesus has prayed and is ready for now what will follow. His disciples who have fallen asleep are not. Some years ago, Tracy and I saw the Rolling Stones at Wembley, the old Wembley Stadium. And one of the new songs they played at that time is perhaps one of the best things I think they've done in recent years. It's a song called Saint of Me. And one thing I realised from it is that Mick Jagger's knowledge of characters in the Bible, like the Apostle Paul and others, and even of church history, is quite good. Because he mentions various people who suffer for their faith. And there's an interesting line in it. It actually says, I know that I'm a sinner. There's even a sense that he's admitting his need of God. But then the chorus really gives it away. The cost is too much, as he says, you'll never make a saint out of me. And so there's the thing, isn't it? One can have a knowledge of things, but still not respond in the correct way. And that's very much the case when it comes to Jesus. Now, in this passage, we see human deceit. Judas comes with others to arrest Jesus. Verse 47, while he was still speaking, that's Jesus, a crowd came up and the man who was called Judas, one of the 12, was leading them. He approached Jesus to kiss him. But Jesus asked him, Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss? Judas had been with Jesus for 3 years, but how little he knew of him. Jesus was prepared for this moment. We can see actually Jesus is in complete control. He knows what's going to happen. He's not going to do a runner or anything like that. And yet, this man, Judas, who spent so long with Jesus, knows little of him. Then we see two reactions. We get the very colourful one, which is the disciples' one. And we note here that it says one of the disciples struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his right ear. And we actually know from the other Gospels that was Peter, very much of Peter's action, sort of action, man of action. Act quickly and think afterwards. That's one reaction. And then there's the opposite reaction with Jesus. Jesus had already said when they showed they had swords, that sort of in a sense he'd said, I don't want to continue this conversation. That's not the way we're going to do things. And Jesus actually says here, doesn't he, when this happened, but Jesus answered, verse 51, no more of this. And he touched the man's ear and healed him. Now there's real deceit involved here. Jesus, when he speaks to the chief priests and the officers and temple guards, says this, am I leading a rebellion that you have come with swords and clubs? Verse 53, every day I was with you in the temple courts and you did not lay a hand on me. But this is your hour when darkness reigns. This tells us quite a lot, doesn't it? The deceit of human beings, the dark nature of the human heart, the way at this point, although Jesus is in control, everything seems to point, doesn't it, to the forces of darkness driving things forward, even if that isn't quite the case. So what are we to make of all this? Well, there's much we could say about it. This is, as I said, this is really the climax. We're getting to the climax of Jesus' ministry. But I think I'd like to really focus on something else. And it's this idea, isn't it, of being in the know, but not actually having the right reaction. I think it's rather interesting in the book of Hebrews. We seem to be doing a lot from Hebrews to finish these recently, but it seems so appropriate. In Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 26, it says this, if we deliberately keep on sinning after we have received the knowledge of the truth, no sacrifice for sins is left. We can know, but not do. One of the things I sometimes find when I'm on the street and I'm giving someone a tract or something like that is they say, I'm all right, I go to such and such a church. Well, that's an interesting way to approach it. Try that one on the day of judgment. Do you think that's really what, makes us right with God, that we give him some lip service during the week? We just occasionally go, sing a few hymns, listen to a bit of a message. No. We've actually got to make a commitment. If we know the truth, we've heard the truth, but we don't act on it, what does it say? Verse 27 of Hebrews 10. But only fearful expectation of judgment and of raging fire that will consume the enemies of God. That's the reality. We can't just give Jesus a bit of lip service. He's given up everything for us. We can't just give him a nod on Sunday. Our worship is to be 24/7. We are to acknowledge him. We're to acknowledge our failures, but know that he is a loving Saviour. The wonderful thing that we see here, isn't it, is that we have the knowledge. Jesus has come and shown us the love of God. The question is, are we going to act on it? As usual, we love to give something away. We're giving away this one at the moment. Where is God when things go wrong? There's some on the railings at the front of the church, or if you see me on the street, you can always ask for one. Thank you so much for listening.